An extraordinary situation occurred in Amalie Arena, Tampa, when BTS's Jin appeared under an unprecedented tight escort. A total of 100 elite security personnel were deployed directly at the behest of HYBE founder Bang Si-hyuk, sparking widespread speculation about the level of threat facing one of BTS's most senior members. This drastic move not only highlights Jin's position as a global icon, but also reflects HYBE's internal panic over the security situation in the United States. The shocking decision was reportedly taken just hours before Jin's arrival at the venue, following internal reports of potential extreme crowds, riots at ticket distribution points, and suspicious activity around the concert grounds. Bang Si-hyuk directly led the coordination with HYBE's internal security team and local parties in Tampa. A source who did not want to be named stated that Bang Si-hyuk can't risk anything, given the strategic and symbolic value of Jin's presence on the American stage right now. The deployment of 100 elite bodyguards, mostly from HYBE's personal security unit and its U.S. operational partners, marks the highest escalation in Korean artist security protocols overseas in recent years. A full perimeter around the Amalie Arena was closed to the public from early in the morning, with aerial surveillance and surveillance drones flown periodically. Local authorities were seen synchronizing with the HYBE team via dedicated digital communications, exposing a very high level of surveillance even for international concert standards. BTS's Jin, who has since completed his mandatory military service appearing on various public agendas and large-scale stages, is undergoing a special tour titled Global Korean Cultural Project. However, the level of public euphoria towards him, especially in America, turned out to have an effect that was not fully anticipated by his initial management team. A few days earlier, an uncontrollable crowd reportedly showed up at the back door of the hotel where Jin was staying in Dallas, and now, a similar incident is even predicted to escalate in Tampa. What shocked the public was how Bang Si-hyuk intervened directly. In internal footage leaked to local media, Bang is seen giving serious direction in an emergency online meeting with HYBE's security chief. If anything happens to Jin, it's not just a failure of the system, but a moral failure for all of us. The sentence has now become a warm quote in various ARMY forums and observers of the Korean music industry. On the other hand, this step also raises a serious question. Is the threat to BTS's Jin really real, or is it precisely this step part of a systematically designed global visibility strategy? Some observers stated that HYBE perfectly understood the importance of maintaining Jin's image as a symbol of calmness and professionalism, so any possible interference in the field had to be eliminated at any cost. However, others consider that actions of this magnitude have the potential to create a manipulative impression on the media and the public. Regardless, the fans who thronged Tampa greeted Jin's arrival with emotional shouts and purple-colored tributes that dominated the streets around the arena. Many of them said they were shocked to see so many guards in dark uniforms escorting one individual. I think it's more than just a concert. It's like a military operation, said a fan from Texas who came specifically to Florida to watch Jin's performance. Although no security incidents have been recorded so far, questions about the scale of protection HYBE has implemented remain hanging. Will this be a new standard in the security of Korean artists abroad? And what about the other BTS members if they get active again? Bang Si-hyuk himself has not yet given a public statement, but HYBE's management only conveyed through an official release that we are taking all necessary measures to ensure the safety of our artists, without compromise. Not a few international media consider this statement too general, without revealing the specific threat behind the massive deployment. For ARMY, this event is a reminder of how much pressure BTS's Jin has to face as a global public figure. When the love and enthusiasm of the fans can turn into a potential uncontrollable crowd, the management must be able to move faster than the threat. And this time, HYBE proved that they chose an aggressive move. However, is this really for Jin's sake? Or is HYBE pursuing a larger geopolitical strategy of Korean pop culture on the global stage? Is there a hidden promotional motive behind this security fear? Or is it really about safety and nothing more? As the public watching from the outside, we certainly can't fully know the answer. One thing's for sure, though, BTS's Jin is now more than just a musician. He's a representation of the grand ambitions, strategic tensions, and global expectations placed on one central figure. For the loyal readers and viewers who are following this development, stay critical and think clearly. Do you believe that the deployment of these 100 bodyguards is really necessary? Or is this just part of the big stage that HYBE is playing so meticulously? Please leave your opinion in the comments. And don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss the latest news about Jin, BTS, and the movement of the global K-pop industry. But behind this incredible security, there is also a collective concern. Is BTS's Jin facing a serious threat that the public doesn't know about? To date, there are no official statements from local authorities regarding the existence of a specific danger. But internal sources in the security sector mentioned that there has been a significant increase in suspicious activity monitored around the Amalie Arena since 2 days before the event, including reports of unknown parties attempting to breach the outer security perimeter. HYBE himself declined to provide details regarding the form of the threat. But in a written statement, the agency said that all security elements deployed were preventive measures in accordance with high-level security protocols implemented on an international scale. This means that even if no major incidents occur, this measure is positioned as an anticipatory measure to prevent worse. The decision to deploy 100 elite bodyguards is not just a matter of numbers. It also reflects the power of protecting a national icon. In the context of South Korea, Jin is not just an idol, but the face of Korean pop culture that is at the forefront of cultural expansion into the global arena. His presence in Tampa, wrapped in a cultural program and arts diplomacy, carries more weight than just an entertainment concert. A number of pop culture analysts mention that this is a new form of visual and symbolic diplomacy. Through the deployment of massive security, the public was presented with the narrative that Jin was a state asset that could not be ignored. So it is natural that HYBE's move is considered partly as a form of confirmation of Jin's position in the eyes of the international. But still, the implications of this decision invite debate. To what extent can entertainment companies mobilize such forces, and on the basis of what kind of threat? In a global perspective, HYBE's actions have even attracted international media attention. Some news outlets in America and Europe began comparing BTS's security protocols to those of heads of state or important UN figures. This is an anomaly in the music industry and very rare even among Western pop stars like Taylor Swift or Beyoncé. So it's natural that many people think that BTS's Jin has now crossed the line of status as an ordinary celebrity. More interestingly, HYBE's move was also observed by the South Korean government. According to diplomatic sources in Seoul, officials from the Ministry of Culture and Tourism even monitored Jin's activities while in the United States, given his position as a representative of Korean culture. In this context, the role of the genie becomes even more complicated. He is an artist, an icon of industry, as well as a symbol of modern nationalism in the frame of global expansion. Meanwhile, the ARMY community around the world showed mixed reactions. Most appreciated HYBE's efforts to keep their idols safe, but not a few also questioned whether this action could give the impression of separation between artists and fans. Because the deployment of hundreds of security personnel certainly creates a physical and psychological distance between Jin and the public. This brings back old discussions about the balance between privacy, security, and intimacy in the artist-fan relationship that has always been BTS's main strength on the field. The fans still showed incredible loyalty. They waited outside the heavily guarded perimeter, carrying posters, light sticks, and singing BTS songs with Haru. Some fans even came from other countries just to be able to be around the arena where Jin performed. This scene once again confirms that Jin's appeal as a solo artist remains irreplaceable, even in the absence of other BTS members. But back to the core question, what exactly is it that makes HYBE so frantic? Is it purely a matter of physical security, or is there another dimension at play in the grand narrative of the Korean entertainment industry? There has been speculation that HYBE is reimagining Jin's branding strategy as a symbol of South Korea's elite on the global stage, and the moment in Tampa was part of that campaign. Extreme security can be not only to protect, but also to form a public perception of the value of the irreplaceable and inaccessible Jin. An image construction that has been used in the world of politics and the military, now penetrated the world of K-pop.I and a world where perception can shape reality. HYBE's move this time is a big risk, but it also opens up great opportunities. Did they manage to create a genie figure who is not only popular, but also respected and protected with the equivalent level of a state leader? Or does this act actually create a new distance that weakens the emotional connection between the artist and the fan? Of course, time will answer everything. But one thing is for sure, BTS's Jin now doesn't just belong to the entertainment scene. He has become part of a global social, political, and cultural dynamic that is far more complex than it seems on the surface. For those of you who want to keep abreast of the latest developments around BTS's Jin and HYBE's surprising move, don't forget to subscribe to this channel so you don't miss exclusive analysis and official news that other media don't present. In examining the phenomenon of 100 elite bodyguards for BTS's Jin in Tampa, the public is faced with two extreme possibilities: an alarming reality or a symbolic scenario full of fabrications. But what is most disturbing is this question: is it true that HYBE deployed 100 bodyguards just to protect one individual? Or is this part of a carefully constructed narrative to shape public opinion and capture global media attention? Information circulating on various platforms such as TikTok, Twitter, YouTube, to online media articles mentioned that HYBE's actions were driven by serious security threats. However, there is not a single official evidence or police release confirming this. Is the absence of this concrete data part of the operational secrecy of security? Or, on the contrary, a sign that we are witnessing a show designed to generate measured panic? It should be noted that in the world of modern entertainment, reality and fiction are often blurred boundaries, especially in the K-pop industry, where the image of an artist is built with high accuracy and complex marketing strategies. Then comes the question that should be the basis of critical thinking for all of us. Is BTS's Jin really the target of a threat that requires this kind of action? Or is HYBE maximizing the moment to create public tension that actually benefits them in branding? Some netizens began to doubt the authenticity of the reports about the large-scale escort. Snippets of the video that went viral on TikTok showed Jin surrounded by a large number of men in dark uniforms, but not all sources indicate the number of bodyguards reaching the 100 mark. On the one hand, it could be that these escorts are scattered at different points of the location, hotels, arenas, road routes, so that they are not visible in one whole frame. But on the other hand, the number 100 itself seems too round not to be considered symbolic. Are these real numbers, or simply bombastic claims designed to add dramatic dimension? One more thing that needs to be criticized is Bang Si-hyuk's position in this narrative. He is said to be the main decision-maker over the deployment of the security forces. But until now, there is no evidence that he was present in person at coordination meetings in the field. Photos and video footage circulated showed more HYBE staff, not Bang Si-hyuk himself. Was his involvement only symbolic, or was it strategically raised to build the image that the owner of the agency intervened directly in favor of the artist? In the midst of limited verifiable information, the public tends to absorb information from social media without filters. Most of the sources claiming this incident came from unofficial content, short TikTok clips, YouTube snippets, or Twitter threads that didn't include credible references. So it is natural that the question arises, are we talking about objective reality, or an illusion of the media deliberately packaged to seem real? It's important to remember that the entertainment industry, especially in the digital age, understands the value of virality. A security emergency narrative like this can be the perfect catalyst to raise a particular artist's exposure instantly. In the case of BTS's Jin, his fame is not in doubt, but reinforcing the impression that he is such an important figure that it requires the equivalent protection of heads of state would certainly reinforce his symbolic status globally. Is this a deliberate strategy by HYBE? This is where the critical position of the reader and audience becomes very important. Don't let emotions alone control how we absorb information. Every impression, every article, and every narrative that goes viral should be approached with a healthy dose of skepticism. Is it true that this all happened as reported? Do we have enough evidence to believe it? Or are we being attracted and carried away by a drama that is deliberately developed for a specific purpose? We recognize that most of the information we present is taken from various sources that are not necessarily officially verified. Many of these come from social media user content, which has the potential for bias, framing, even visual manipulation. That is why we invite you all not to swallow the information that is circulating. Try to pause and ask, why did this narrative arise? Who benefits? Is there a repeating pattern? Is it possible that this is a new form of extreme marketing in which fear, panic, and empathy are used as tools to create emotional closeness with the public? Is it possible that we are part of a massive social experiment where perception is controlled through visuals, viral narratives, and sensations? And the most basic, do you believe that BTS's Jin really needs 100 elite bodyguards to perform in Tampa? These questions are important, not to accuse anyone, but rather to shape a culture of thinking that is not easily swayed by the flow of digital information. In the midst of the daily siege of sensational news and claims, a reflective, skeptical, and logical attitude is our only means of protection as consumers of information. In conclusion, we do not give definitive conclusions about what is right or wrong. Instead, we encourage you to investigate further, question more deeply, and have more open discussions. Don't just be a spectator in someone else's controlled narrative. Be an active participant who dares to ask, what exactly is going on behind the scenes? Thanks for reading. If you think this information opens up a new angle, don't forget to subscribe so as not to miss the next critical discussion around BTS's Jin, the K-pop industry, and how the media shapes our perceptions every day.